Hi internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind creation Miss Couture. Welcome back into this episode of In the Dye Pan, where everything kind of went wrong, but not really at the same time. So basically in this episode I will show you what I was wanting to do. I will explain what I wanted to do and I will show you what happened instead. So basically this episode was specifically supposed to be an answer to a question I received in my Google form about techniques that people would like me to explore a little bit more, and one of that technique was speckle. I really love speckling, and I thought this episode could be even more interesting by doing speckles two different ways to show you how there's many ways that you can speckle yarn, and I wanted to do it in a twist to create resist spots, so it would show you that you can have like small sets of speckles here and there. And then the other one would be like the classic speckle. You do one side of the pan and then you let it cook for 15-20 minutes, flip it, and then you speckle the other side of the pan. But instead we'll walk you through all the mistakes I made and what I would do different next time, so that you can learn from my mistakes. And it's also to show you that you're always learning something in this craft, and it's important that you keep learning and growing, because if you don't, well, you will become stagnant and you kind of, in my personal experience and opinion, you could lose the spark and the joy of dyeing if you don't learn something. So without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so right off the bat, I just want to say that the first mistake I made was to not to not let my skeins soak in a mix of citric acid and tap water overnight. Usually if you're only going to be applying speckles, this is something that you would like to do, simply because it allows to more acid to be penetrating the yarn, and that way your speckles will also strike faster. And my second mistake here was to put too much water. So I was going for a low immersion technique, so I put 4 cups of water in my half pans, but 4 cups of water is usually what I put in my bigger pans. If you're interested in those half pan, I'll just drop a link in the description box below, so you can go to the website and check them out. I really like it because you don't have to do 4 skeins to create the same effect. So I put too much water, and I should have started my water right now, just after I've put my skeins into the dye pans, so that way it would warm up faster. And same thing as with the soak with acid, it would have allowed to the speckle to strike faster. But instead I just did what I usually do, and I think this is where I made so much mistakes, is because I was preparing my things the same way I would do if speckling was my last step. So when I do regular colors, like variegated or like just regular colors, the see, I'm turning it off only right now. The speckles are my last steps, which means that the water is already hot and there's plenty of time for the acid to get into it. So here and also another mistake I made is I chose 2 colors that have a tendency to spread if you don't do the rest of those the steps. So you can already see the red spreading. This is poinsettia from Dharma at Trading Co. Same thing, I'll have a link in the description box below. So reds takes also longer to strike to the yarn usually. which is my mistake. I should have chosen different. And honestly, another thing I should have done is allow for the first color to like to rest longer before adding my green, which is, I believe it's emerald green from Dharma as well. And green is also another color that will spread, and you can already see the spreads. And one of the reasons I say I put too much water is because you can see in the crack where there's of the twisted skein that like there is pockets of dyes that are starting to accumulate, and it's not the effect I was going for. I wanted to go with something that would be sharper, and now it's going to be a little bit more messier. It's still going to be pretty as a final result, but it's not the effect I was going for. So you can see so many pockets of dye. Oh, oh, how unfortunate. But it's life. Like I said, and you can see me, I have my respirator on. So when you're dyeing yarn, please make sure that you protect your lung with respirators. Have gloves to ensure that you don't have like leftover dyes on your skins or and stuff like that. And all the equipment I'm using is 100% dedicated to dyeing yarn. I do not use it to cook food or anything. Please make sure that you don't cross-contaminate everything. So that's been 15 to 20 minutes, and you can see the spread the dyes had. So with the twisted skeins, you can see all the pockets, all the spread in it. This is extremely messy. However, we're not going to be flipping those because this is the effect I was going for. I wanted to have more white, and yeah, so like I said, it spreads a lot. So what I'm going to do here is, you see there's pockets of dye in that one too. I will remove excess dye stock from this. Oh gosh. I should maybe have put a content warning for people that are squeamish with things that kind of look like blood. Yeah. It's not blood, it's only dye. But it looks gruesome. So I'm removing all that excess, and we are not going to be flipping the skeins that are twisted because I still want to show you the difference. But I will be flipping the one I'm currently removing the excess dye from, and we can see the difference that it will be creating. So at least the green has absorbed. It's really like the red that has a harder time to strike fast like the green one. So if I were to redo this experiment, I would choose different colors to show you how to do it. So we flip, and we'll be adding the second layers of speckles. And after we'll have added the dry dye powder. And another way I could have done it differently to have sharper speckles would be to mix the dye powder with citric acid. Because when you add citric acid, it helps to have like a bigger speckle. So after I have added all the dry powder, we will let this sit on the heat for half an hour. After that, we'll be turning off the heat and let it cool for about at least 45 minutes to make sure that the dye had time to vat. And then we will be washing it and making sure that there's no bleeding, because red have a tendency to bleed. So see you in half an hour. So it's actually the next morning. So it had the time to sit for an entire night. It was clear, and the water was clear, so that's good. Now we're going to be cleaning up the one that we flipped the color, so you can see all the spread there was. There's a slightly tint of red, pink red in the water, which I was expecting because it's red and it has a tendency to do that. So we just need to see if there is red in the bath. And you can see there's a bit of red. So it's also an important reason why you should always make sure to wash your reds separately. And if you're going to be using red as a contrast color in a color work or something like that, I would recommend that you try to clean that skein first. So you do exactly what I'm doing. You clean it, you let it soak a little bit in water. You clean it as much as you can until your water runs clear, and then you let it dry for however long before. I know it's an extra step, I'm sorry about that, but it's just to make sure that it doesn't like taint the other colors in your color work. Or if you're going to just go ahead and use it, what you could do is a steam block instead of a wet block, and instead of like washing it every time, you put it in your freezer in a bag for 48 hours to kill all bacteria when you need to clean it. So now we're going to be cleaning, washing the twisted skeins, and after that we'll come back for conclusion. So you can see there was quite a spread on those skeins as well, but there is 0 dye left in the dye bath, which is nice. So maybe it won't take forever to wash this one. And if you don't like those zip ties, you can also use like the plastic shower curtains ring instead, so that way it doesn't get tangled as much. And they're pretty sturdy, so it's pretty nice. I really like those ones because they come in a pack of like hundreds. So it's easy. So you see, this one was very nice and clean and easy. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, like they say. So now it's going to be in my spin dryer and I will show you the final result. So you can see that there is quite difference. So the one that was twisted is the one at the bottom of the pictures. You can see that there's a lot of white spots left, and that's because of the resist we created when we twisted our skeins of yarn. So those two skeins are actually my classic sock weight yarn base. So this is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. So it does take the dye nicely. So yes, we can see that there's a lot of spread on both skeins, but a big difference with the two skeins that we see is the white spot that are left, which is the effect that I wanted to do because I wanted to go with like candy cane crushed effect. And you can see that because of the spread we had on the skeins, the one at the top, the one that we flipped, there is a lot more pink in those skeins. So, like I said, I did a lot of mistakes. I think it still looked very pretty, and I'm most likely going to make sock sets with those colors that we've made today. And honestly, they won't be available right now on the website simply because I need to dye mini skeins to go with it. So if you want to make suggestion for the content of the channel, you can just answer the questions in the Google form that I will have linked below in the description box. You can always leave a comment also on the video, and I will try to keep track of all comments that are like suggestion and stuff like that. And you can also let me know what you would have done differently. That would be very fun to hear and read. So with that being said, I just want to thank you for everyone who watched the video until this point. I will have links for product that I've used in these videos, so like the acid, all the tools I use on my Amazon storefront. It's an affiliate link, so if you make a purchase through that link, I may earn a commission, which I'm very thankful for that. And if you want more content like that, you can like, share, subscribe. So thank you so much, and I will see you very soon.